Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and over the weekend I've been driving the 2024 Lexus RX450h Plus Luxury. Up front is a 2.5 liter inline 4 as well as a plug-in hybrid system, and down below is a CVT. Now I am super excited to be making this video because, like I said, I've spent the weekend driving the RX450. I am very well versed in a lot of Lexus products, and so I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on this vehicle here today. This RX450h also has over 15,000 miles on it, which is pretty high mileage for a press vehicle, so we'll get into how it's aged over what some would consider 3 years worth of driving. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you would like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months in advance, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month, as well as there's exclusive audio content. But let's get back to that 2.5 liter inline 4 under the hood. Well, for all intents and purposes, this is pretty much a RAV4 Prime underneath the skin. It gets that same 4-cylinder with the plug-in hybrid system, which is good for 35-ish all-electric miles. You plug it in at night, and then in the morning, you can drive it on just electricity for that, like I said, 35-ish miles. It's going to depend on weather. It's going to depend on charge, of course, things like that. But it is a really nice feature, and that's above the standard RX hybrid that is just a non-plug-in, and it recharges itself and whatnot. This recharges itself a little bit, but you're going to want to plug it in for max mileage. Like I said, paired to it is a CVT. Now, traditionally, I don't love CVTs. However, I think it feels really at home in a hybrid, especially when it's switching between electric and gas engine. It feels normal, so I don't mind it at all. Last but not least, the RX450h Plus is all-wheel drive. How does it feel to drive the Lexus RX450h Plus? It's nice. This entire video, you can cut to the in-camera. The road I'm on is 70 miles an hour, and you can hear in my voice, it's not that loud. It's going to be noisy. I'm driving on grooved concrete on the highway, so it's kind of unavoidable at some level, but it's not loud. I don't have to raise my voice to get my point across, which is very, very nice. Visibility is also good. The ride quality is nice. And that hybrid system, although it might be a little funky, it figures itself out. And of course, you can drive it in electric mode, which takes all the noise out of the drivetrain. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have a completely digital gauge cluster. I like it. However, it is a little bit cluttered. It's not super easy to read at a quick glance, but Toyota's gauge clusters are a similar way, so that's just is what it is. On the steering wheel, we have selectors, volume, and page icons, and off to the right we have cruise control selectors and page icons. These are awful. These are haptic buttons that you can customize to do different things, but if you want to skip track, you have to hover your finger over it and then click. You can't just click skip track. You have to hover your finger, make sure you see that it's highlighted on the head-up display, and then you can click it. This is an obnoxious system. It doesn't work if you have gloves on, and it just adds a step in between things that weren't complicated before. This is like a millennial pause just to skip track or select your speed for cruise control. It's really annoying. The steering wheel itself does have some wood accents on it, which are really nice, and it is heated. Off to the left, we do have a climate control vent, odometer and trip reset, gauge dimmer switch, memory seats, gas cap release, and trunk release. And moving on to the door, we get our Mark Levinson speaker, power mirrors, power locks, and power windows. Then we also have the electronic door handle. So you push it in to open it, but the emergency latch is pulling it twice. Now, I'm not a big fan of this. However, I actually recently learned why they did this. So it actually won't let you open the door if it detects that there's traffic coming up behind you. So if you didn't see a car or something that's racing past you on the left, it won't let you open the door until that sensor says that it's all clear. A little bit of added safety, but a lot of added complexity that I'm not a fan of. Moving into the center, we do get our giant infotainment system. This does have wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as the standard Lexus system that will give you some efficiency monitors and things like that. And we also do have a 360 camera, which is pretty cool because when you start driving, it actually records and will show you essentially what is underneath the car. Toyota does this in a couple of their vehicles, and Lexus does it as well, and I really, really enjoy it. Down below, we have our climate controls. Now, in the past, I haven't been a big fan of the climate controls in the screen, and to be fair, I'm still not. However, Lexus leaves this up all the time, so you don't have to go and try to find it. You don't have to scrounge around looking for your climate controls. They're always going to be there, and they're not laggy at all. You can see me pulling the fan slider, and it actually follows my finger pretty well. Down below that, we do have our parking assist and camera button, 2 climate vents with the hazard switch, 2 USB-Cs, and an openable cubby with a wireless charger, USB-A, and USB-C. Love seeing all of that. Moving up to the center console, off to the left, we do have the shifter. This is the Prius style shifter, debuted in the Prius almost 20 years ago. And down below, we have a bunch of buttons for our auto holding brake and power parking brake. Off to the left, we have traction control and our off-road button. And then off to the right, we have our EV hold charge and auto EV. So these are our electric driving modes. You can tell it to hold the charge until a certain time. You can hold on to it for backup if you're gonna go off-road and you're not sure when the next gas station is. You can hold on to those 30 some odd miles of electric driving for emergencies or things like that. So cool that you get a button. But off to the right, we have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test, and it fails here in the center. However, actually the pockets in the doors, which are designed for bottles, do fit the big friggin' bottles. So overall, the Lexus RX450h Plus Luxury is a pass for the big friggin' bottle test. Then we do have a center console that is perfect for holding my chocolate-covered pretzel. And the seats. The seats are very light, which we'll talk about later on with the final thoughts, but they are heated, ventilated, power, and memory, and they are very comfortable. I've had a bad back the weekend that I had this car, and this helps soothe it, especially with the heating option. My muscle pain has gone down quite a bit. However, speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a back seat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2024 Lexus RX450h Plus, and a couple of things to note. First of all, as the RX has gotten bigger over the years, luckily the rear seat space has gotten bigger as well. So plenty of space back here, no complaints from me. Headroom good, even with sunglasses on my head. Knee room is good. Of course, the light tan interior carries on back here, but we also have some really nice features like 2 USB-Cs, heated and ventilated seats in the rear, and my own climate control. Now, I don't get fan speed, but I do get temperature, which is very nice. However, I also get reclining rear seats. Now, they are power folding, and we'll talk about that when we talk about the trunk, but I can control it with a button to my left, and I can recline. Very, very nice to see that. Overall, this is a really good place to be. The only downside, much like the front, is that the dumb electronic door handles still carry on back here. So that is a downside, but not the worst thing in the world. All right, around the back of the Lexus RX450h Plus, and we do have a button up here. It is a power tailgate, of course. And once we are back here, we do get the Lexus First Aid Kit. We do have an outlet, which is upside down, interestingly enough. Kind of funny to see that. We also do have a 12-volt outlet, so plenty of charging options back here. We have power for the rear seats up and down. Tons and tons of storage space. Absolutely love to see all of this. Nothing really too crazy, but if you were curious on getting an idea of how much space you would have in the back of the RX450h Plus, here it is. We also do have some storage down here, which isn't always a given for hybrid, especially plug-in hybrid vehicles. So definitely nice to see that. Come back up here, button right back down. Nice, smooth, and quiet. Now we gotta talk about the looks. It's fine. I do like the new look of the RX series. I've done the RX350 as well, and overall I like it. I think this is an incredibly boring color of the RX. I would highly recommend trying to seek out one in copper crest. Really, really love that color, and I think it really accentuates the look of the RX350, which is always good. But overall, I think it's handsome enough. I just don't think it's a showstopper in any way. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the Lexus RX450h Plus luxury for the last several days? Well, I really like it. I wouldn't have asked Lexus for it if I didn't like it, but there are some little things that really bother me. The climate controls on the screen, I don't like. The door handles, I don't like. And the steering wheel buttons, I particularly hate with a passion of 1,000 suns. But beyond that, it's still a nice, luxurious vehicle. I enjoy it, it rides nice, and I love the plug-in hybrid opportunity. Driving 30 miles on electric charge is fantastic. If you're trying to keep your emissions down, or quite frankly, if you just don't want to go to the gas station, you can drive this as a short-form EV. That's fantastic and really, really smart. But also, I do want to talk about how has this vehicle held up over 15,000 miles. Because press cars live an exceedingly hard life compared to other normal cars. This car has been passed around from journalist to journalist to journalist to journalist for the last year. And in doing so, it's racked up not only 15,000 miles, but it's had tens, if not hundreds of butts in its seat, and kids, and pets, and it's lived hundreds of different lives within that year. So I would say 15,000 miles on a press vehicle is a lot harder than in a regular vehicle. And this being one of the highest mileage press vehicles I've had, others have not fared so well. I once had a press loan of a small American pickup truck named after a Top Gun movie that smelled like a horse barn on the inside and was scratched from here to Timbuktu. It was dented and destroyed. But this one genuinely isn't. The only notation that this is a higher mileage vehicle is, as I mentioned, the seats. The seats are a little bit dingy on the outside. Light seats just age like spoiled milk in the sun. That's just the reality of it. There's a little bit of discoloration on the light door card up by the Mark Levinson speaker, but beyond that, it's done really, really well so far. Throughout all of the journalists' butts and grief and pets and food and late night, this car has held up well. And that's a good showing for the interior moving forward with the Lexus RX badge. So, I like this car. There's a few little things that I don't like, but I can't let that deter from the fact that it is luxurious. And I do like driving it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Lexus for loaning me this RX450h Plus luxury for the last weekend. Huge thank you to Drive Shop for facilitating the cleaning and delivery of this vehicle. They dropped it off for me at the airport. I messaged them while I was out of town if they could make that happen, and they did. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Matt, Dave, and Billy. And of course, the Midwestern Automotive Media Association. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.